Yeah, welcome to another episode of My Tech Journey with Aji. And in the studio with me today, I have a very special somebody. This guy is a grandfather when it comes to dev. Senior dev. Àwọn àgbà dev lele, àwọn àgbà fi yọyọ. I would like him to introduce himself, but he's my friend, he's my brother, he's a senior colleague. Emmanuel Adelugba, it's good to have you here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Once again, I've said that about 2 times. You've been here. Thank you. I'm Emmanuel Adelugba. I'm a software engineer. I basically do software engineering across a lot of things, especially in the fintech space. Basically, that's just me.
So now let's move straight. Tell me about your journey in the tech world.
Well, my journey in the tech world has been it's been a roller coaster basically. Actually, the journey started from school, basically, but it's not about whatever I was taught in school. But however, there were things that they did in school, our lecturers did in school, that just triggered my interest in wanting to know about this. So yes, we were introduced to programming because I studied computer science in Fosgiwa Polytechnic.
Okay.
We were introduced basically, at the department to programming, but we all know the programming they teach us in school is not as, what
it's not as advanced as.
It's not as advanced as.
There is a disparity between class and real life.
There's just so much disparity.
Okay.
Right. But then I just found love in wanting to understand how this works. How does the web works? How does this application, how is it built? How is Facebook built? What are the components that makes up Facebook? This was the curiosity that, I needed to find answers for, within me. Then I was not so sure if I was even going to be a software engineer, not until one very fateful day. I remember that day very, very well. Actually, I can't remember the date, but I know that day, I know the scenario. A lecturer came to the class and then he teaches us programming. I think it's Q basic programming. So he just wrote a problem on the board and he asked who could solve it. The whole class was filled with silence. Nobody knew what was going to happen because nobody even knew how to solve the problem. Then I thought about it. I said I can do this. Then I just raised up my hand. And in the midst of all silence, they knew nobody. I think the lecturer knew nobody was going to
be able to solve the problem. Puzzle.
I was not so sure of myself, but I felt, why don't I just give it a try? If I failed, at least I knew that I tried, basically. And there's no crime in trying. So I just raised up my hands and everybody was like, hey, who is this person? And the lecturer was just smiling and then he said, okay, come. I believe the lecturer thought I just want to come and fumble, right? So then I stood up, approached the board. Then there were my colleagues hailing me in the class. Hey, Emmanuel. And then I was like, calm down and let me think. So what's he's sure for you.
I can imagine that kind of
It became so interesting, right? And then at the end of the day, I solved it. There was no correction. It was as exact as the lecturer wanted it to be. And then the lecturer was like, you know what, guys, this guy got this. And then there was applause. And then I'm actually a very, very gentle type. I don't talk. In fact, a lot of people don't even know my name, in class. But that day, it raised my rep. So people know me. Oh, that guy, that guy Agbanio. Nah.
I can imagine that kind
so the consciousness that was now in people was, okay, this guy is I mean, he's brilliant. He can do this. He's good in programming. He's this. And then I just had to live up to the expectation that, okay, I think this is it. I don't even know what triggered me. A normal me would not raise up my hand even to ask a question in class.
I
But
can imagine.
so then that was where it started. I started, going online. If I have 2,000 naira, I'd rather buy data and eat that data than buy food to eat. So I'll buy data, try to do research online, watch YouTube videos, download. I got to know about a lot of free browsing tricks. Then, basically accessed a lot of. So I didn't have any tutor. There was no tutor for me basically. I didn't enroll to any academy. I was self-taught, but I was opportune to do IT at let me just say a training academy, a coding training academy. There I met an instructor that, I mean, his own story too. He played a lot of impact in my life. I met an instructor. He was one that taught me how to write Hello World. He wasn't even told me, oh, there's something, if you want to start learning a new programming language, you start with, Hello World. So
okay, I didn't know what.
yeah, exactly. So when I was in Polytechnic, there's the first year. After the first year, you go for CWES, which is like a 4-month IT, but it's CWES. So that was where I met him. So when I was in school, I didn't even do HTML. It was just QBasic. But then when I met him at that CWES for 4 months, he was one that taught me, there's HTML4. It was HTML4 then, not even HTML5.
Right.
So he taught me how to do Hello World. And those days we're still building HTML using tables. So if you want to draw a layout, you have to use tables to know where your menus are, where all these are. So and then over time I just started, following the trend. What are the next things to learn? We went to PHP, did MySQL, understand database, and then it got to a point when I was about finishing my HND, then I knew I was so good in my own opinion, because a lot of my colleagues, they know me as, oh, this bad programmer,
Bad guy.
yeah. So projects of my colleagues, they reach out to me, and in computer science, most of the projects are like design and development of so systems, this. So usually I used to be the one doing the coding for people.
Everybody.
I would just charge like 30,000, and that was how I started earning a few cash, within the school. So I was just so good because I know how to write, build products, or let's say design a system that can only run locally. In fact, I had little experience on how to even publish, online. But I can know how to run it locally on my system. If I want to run it on your system, then I wasn't exposed to connecting two systems, so that once you start the server somewhere, you can run it once it is connected together. Mm-hmm. But then if I wanted to run it on a colleague system or another system, I'll have to export the whole code base and all the softwares I'm using to start the server and put it up. So that was the level of good that I was then. And I was that local champion.
Well,
right?
But at least you were good.
Yeah, of course. So then I was curious. What triggered this interest in me? I wanted to know how Facebook was built. I wanted to know how, Twitter and all of these, social medias and solutions were built. How did they do this? Then in my quest to know all of how this thing works, I discovered, it is not just a one-man thing. So Facebook, we have millions of people working in Facebook as at then. So I knew, definitely, just one man didn't come. There's just this one man that brought all the people, all the developers, and they all had to work on social feature. Then something came up, a word came up for me. It was collaboration. So I knew I didn't have any form of collaboration. I'm just that lone ranger. I only know how to do things for myself. This was around 2018. Right then, so excuse me. Oh, sorry. So right there, I had to. What's the next thing for me? I was going for service, right? how would this service be of impact to me? Along the line, because after I finished my second year, which is ND2, I had to go for a 1 year
1 year
IT.
training.
So 1 year IT, I had to meet with the head of my department then. Of course, a lot of them knew me because of this guy that was so bold and all of that. So he recommended me to a consultant that deploys a portal for our school then. So I was opportune to do IT with the man, and then he has quite a lot of impact too, because that was what introduced me to the business part of tech. I started understanding how they go out for presentations, how they do this and that. Now, my boss really wanted me to stay with him. I was of so much value, and then a young boy with so great potential. They actually wanted to find a way to keep me around because I wanted to go far away. I just wanted to go to a very new location. I want to leave my comfort zone. I feel like I'm a local champion here. I want to meet with other geniuses, meet with other champions, and say, okay, let me know the level of my own championship. I call myself a champion. I call myself a genius. Let me go and meet with other geniuses and then
I see
know where I fall
find your
to.
level.